Hey guys, gals, fellow collectors, fans of the hobby, comic book fans, YouTube family, or however you wish to be identified, or not. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, and welcome to another Saturday, or Sunday if you happen to be on the other side of the world show. I was going to say a place where it's still Friday. It's definitely Saturday, but some of you are on Sunday, right? Trying to see my camera here. There we go. So Hot Toys announced a new Iron Man something. I guess they're calling it their what was the word for it they used? Legacy? Was that what it was? Supposed to resemble Iron Man from the comics, which it does in a weird way. It's kind of like how Sideshow has been making these kinds of characters for many years, these comic book crossovers, and they're asking $400 for it, and it is it's like a standalone. You know, you've got to be a hardcore comic Iron Man collector from like the old days, from the '60s, I think, in order to absolutely fall in love with this. In my opinion, now you may fall in love with it no matter because it's kitschy or something to that effect. But I was just looking at it and I was like, oh man, this is. I think I'm going to pass on it. I don't know Iron Man from the comics that well, only through whatever brief moments he would bump into Spider-Man in the Spider-Man comics. But I don't have any, real connection to that style of body, so I'll be passing on it. Plus at $400. But no, keep cranking out the movie ones. Definitely, I'll get those. Jake D, first one up this morning. How you doing? Awesome, awesome. Toy Mafia, how you doing, man? Jake beat you to the punch, man. CBS Sci-Fi, hello. How are you? Save on Maison. Good morning. So I've been doing some more work in here. If you can see, I put up 2 new Detolfs right here. I haven't got the lights in them yet. And so that's progress has been going. Then I started feeling how they're actually going to go in there. So we've got Jesus. I about knocked this off. We'd have been playing 52 pickup all morning. So right here we've got the Green Goblin's going to be going in there with Doc Ock, which I'll probably unbox today, and the Black Suit Spidey, Red Suit Spidey, Sandman, Venom. I'm going to put the new Green Goblin down there. There we have Electro, and Andrew Garfield Spideys. And then starting up here, I'm going to do something with that. Do something with that. Gonna do something with that. They're all kind of just like hanging out for right now. They're not exactly where they're going to stay, but pretty much that's the shelf they're going to be on. Of course, when Stereo shows up, he'll go there. And then we have the PlayStation ones here. And that's where we are on that. And I ran out of space already, and I still got more Spider-Man. So, yes, I need more Detolfs. No doubt about it. Just to give you an example of what that is. And of course, the big dilemma in buying cases of display cabinets for these figures is, you know, do you spend $60 plus $40 for shipping or $100 on a case, or do you apply that $100 towards your next figure? And my answer has always been to apply them to the figures. So now I'm trying to play catch up in that regards. And that is where we are with that. And I think for a fact, I'm going to open up this Toys R Us PE006 Doc Ock today. Oh, you guys will be... No, I won't tell you that. Next week. I'll tell you that next week. I did something you guys told me not to do, and I regret doing it. With my Black Widow. You guys told me not to. I thought I knew better. You warned me. I don't know why I did it. I thought I could. I was wrong. Jake don't know what he's got himself into, huh? So it's nice to see, in my opinion, the figures that have been long forgotten. This movie is, I mean, pushing 20 years old. Hot Toys obviously had no intention of making it. You got the Green Goblin. William Dafoe, who was it played Green Goblin? The Fiend looks great. This Doc Ock, both of these from those series of movies, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. And I've always felt that in order for there to be a hero, there has to be a super villain. And they kind of addressed that in the Tobey Maguire movie, as all these villains are being made kind of around Spider-Man, which has always been his problem, really. Who makes who? Even Batman and Joker, who made who, right? Look at these. I believe it's articulated all the way down and around. This is... just going to unpack it all first. And I got to tell you, with some of the recent results of product being released by Hot Toys, some of these third-party manufacturers are making better product than Hot Toys is for half the price. So, Hot Toys earned their quality recognition. They earned the right to charge ridiculous amount of money for these products because they made quality product. But if they keep it up, they're gonna making crap. They're gonna lose it. Now, yeah, there's always been that chance that you were going to get a Mark 7 mailed to you back 7 years ago and it have a bad wire in the elbow, or get a Deadpool where the stuff's coming off, or any number of instances of situations that could cause a bad product, and and some of them were very well known for having these particular issues with them. So I'm not saying that Hot Toys has been without issues. One of the jokes is if you own or collect Hot Toys figures, you're going to have some super glue laying around. And there's a reason why we have learned that we have to have super glue laying around. But now it's like any way they can figure they can cut a penny and raise the price. And I respect that. Okay, I do. How can you expect to make any money and stay in business if you're not raising prices and making a profit? But at the same token, if you're raising prices, making a profit, and the corners that you're cutting are in regards to quality, when you weren't 100% on par in the first place, you're really flirting with disaster. So, Hot Toys quality used to have some weight to it. If you said Hot Toys quality, you knew what you were looking at compared to some of the other manufacturers at the time. That's not necessarily the case anymore. They need to readdress that. I'm going to have a hard time justifying paying $400 for a figure. Have it dissolve on me in 2 years. Right? If I'm giving you $400 for it, I expect to get $400 out of it. I don't expect it to become worthless in 2 years. And I surely don't want it made out of. I certainly don't want it to feel like it's a $25 toy that I picked up at the drugstore. If I spent $400 on something, I want it to feel like I spent $400 on it. They seem to have lost that ability. Just my opinion. For whatever that's worth. The only reason I was on here first is because we were traveling. Oh, okay. Nice. Diecast Iron Man for me looks cool as it does look cool. I mean, it does. But I also pass on the other comic book slash representations. For instance, the Green Goblin that just was released or announced a couple weeks ago or so. Don't remember. Looks great. It's a comic adaptation of Green Goblin, and I have quite a bit of connection with Green Goblin because he's Spider-Man, directly Spider-Man villain. He's one of the main Spider-Man villains. I mean, like the main Spider-Man villain for the most part. You know, the arch nemesis, even like Joker is to Batman. But you know, I just don't track down the comic book ones. You know, and like I said, Sideshow's been making those for years. Daredevil, Thor, Captain America, just to name a few that have come off the top of my head in recent years that look great. That's just not what I'm interested in. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of you that are going to pick this up because they have that comic connection. You've now connected the comic to the Hot Toys line, more or less. And I can see that being something you may have wanted for a while. Guess what I'm doing? I'm mucking with this guy. Let me show you what's going on here. I'm talking and not showing. So it looks pretty good, like an actor. Please forgive me. I don't remember his name. It's not bad. I mean, as I look at it, I know who I'm looking at. It's not an exact representation of him, in my opinion, but not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, he's what we have, right? If you want it. And so we have the pieces here ripped out through the coat. And if you remember also, he was posed without a top on and just his bare chest. You have a wire here, so you can pose this, which is nice. I like that. You can put effect into the clothing. and a wire also in this inner coat, and the inner coat will unzip. I'm not so certain I want to unzip it, but I do want to have a look. I'm gonna try not to take it all the way down. I want to just look at his chest area here. As I can see, he's not wearing a shirt, and I'm wondering, you know, do we have the actual girdle apparatus there? And we do. Bingo. So you can display him in one of many ways, um, to your memory from the movie. And I'm really pleased to see that. We'll zip this back up. I don't want to have to zip this back up. I'm almost 100% guarantee you I'm not going to be displaying him without a coat on. I might, but I'm not planning on it. There's the coat. Good look at that. By the way, I just noticed now on the back of this, it's got those sew marks in it, like when he sewed it up. He busted through it, right? And he's wearing dark green, olive colored even cargo pants. I don't remember if that's true representation of what he wore. And no socks. Two little chukkas, chukka boots. So that's the basics of him here. We also have a wire at the bottom of the brown coat and in the bottom of the green coat. So you can really get some good flowing positioning out of this. You really can make the coat come alive. You know, that was with Venom. You know, when the artist made the Venom character come alive and made the suit alive, it was nice to see the flowingness and all that. I think some other caped characters, sometimes the cape takes on a life of its own. Well, obviously, Doctor Strange, that's totally the truth. What's the name of his cloak? Zombie Deadpool is a comic concept. And on Deadpool, so that's like an exception for me. Zon, how you doing, man? Um, I don't know why, but in my mind, I am easily able to um, recognize Deadpool in all realities, if that makes sense, and have no problem chasing him down and collecting him and having an absolute blast. And I have a lot of Deadpools that I have on the shelf over there, and they're going to get some dead. They probably need two Deadpool's themselves, and so they truly are, as you said, comics. If I was only buying the movie Deadpool, that'd be two figures, right? Plus the Juggernaut and Justin Bieber and Cable, and that'd be it, right? And Colossus. So other than that, all the other Deadpools I have: Dogpool, Squirrelpool, Chibipool, um, kid Deadpool, um, Lady Deadpool. I've got the sideshow cartoon Deadpool over there. I've got Deathstroke, which would be obviously the DC variant of Deadpool. And yes, I agree. Deathstroke is first, and Deadpool's a complete ripoff of him. But as I'm collecting every possible realm of Deadpool, he would be in the Deadpool multiverse as far as that goes. So, yeah, those are all comics. I have no problem with that on Deadpool. So, but on the others, I tend to kind of stay away. And then you get into the conundrum of collecting, trying to make a Mary Jane, and I got the Black Cat over here, and some Gwen Stacy figures I'm trying to make, and again, those are comic book, iterations. So I guess there's a line, a gray line that I balance on, and sometimes waver over. Okay, well, let's make a Mary Jane, and then I'm like, no, no, I can't get that because it's too comic-y. There's no relation to the movie. I don't have any relation to it. Oh, but look at this Deadpool over here. They got to now there's a Deadpool that looks like a samurai soldier. Well, I've got to get that. Here's a panda pool. Oh, I've got to get that. And obviously, all of those are cartoons. So, and then we don't even want to have to try even to work into that. The multiverse Spider-Man story with Miles Morales and Spider Gwen. So, yeah, I know. And then you got the PlayStation 4 video game, which is truthfully comic-y. I can debate myself all day long and still not know which end is up. I love these really tall ones. They're really rare. And they're great for Iron Man figures. And so you have two options here. Either you can use this, or you can use this, or both. How sturdy these are. It's very difficult to get on. Well, that's good because that means it's going to stay on there well. So now that we've put that on, this little ball joint that you see that it snaps on with, just like a foot would do. Let's see how articulated this really is. Every one of these is an articulation. Literally, every one. Now, with anything like this, the more you play with it, the looser you're going to make it. So, truthfully, you're going to want to not screw with it too much. Put it into a position and leave it alone. Love that. This looks great. When I see something like this made by a third-party company, I tell myself, that was done by fans, you know? And sometimes I get the feeling from Hot Toys that it's done by fans. Sometimes I get the feeling by Hot Toys that it's not. It's done by somebody who's trying to turn a buck. And either's fine. It's just that sometimes you feel like you get a little more appreciation out of a product if it's made by somebody who actually gives a damn how the product turns out in regards to delivering you a quality piece for your collection, compared to somebody who just wants to get something out there and make $400 off of selling it to you. Well, they're not making $400, but you know what I mean. This is nice. Those are the points, and you have two of the points, and then you have two of the forks or spatulas. And I've forgotten that until seeing this. They're beautifully colored. It really looks like a metal, like a shed. The forks are a little more articulated. Or differently articulated, I guess I would say. So there they are, spread back and opened. There's the forks all the way lifted up. They won't lift up anymore. And you can pull them together as such, right? And then collapse them. So I guess that's about as much collapse as you can get that. Pretty impressive, pretty cool. This guy sold out quickly. I missed him and had to track him down, and it wasn't easy. And I tell you, if you if you wanted him and you missed him, man, you really missed out. I don't have any idea of what I want to pose him as. There's his little welding glasses. So I don't know. We have the bank money, so maybe a claw holding each one, right? Maybe one in his hand. Definitely giving you an inspiration right off the bat, don't they? And I think the goggles on him work better than the face without the goggles, truthfully. I guess I need to figure out whether the forks go on the top or the bottom or where they go onto this before I start attaching them onto them. Again, you know, the last thing you want to do is mess around too much with an articulated figure, and then you end up with a problem that could have been resolved if you didn't mess with it so much and wear it out. So he's going to be set aside so I can do some research on him. But he already got his spot over there with Green Goblin and the black suited Spider-Man from Tobey Maguire. Got 4 or 5 gloves. So good old finger point, kinda. 2 fingers here. What's this other one? Grasping hand. Pleading hand, grasping hand. Holding hand. A little bit finger outstretched from that holding hand. And then 2 fists. So he didn't come with much, but my goodness, what he did come with really is, I mean, they made all the right pieces for real. If you wanted to have, a Doc Ock from Tobey Maguire in your collection. And I really, 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 really hope, I think probably like most of you do, that there's going to be an Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. It was nice seeing Mr. Jameson do a crossover, right? And with the multiverse, why not? Right? I think we all look forward to that, which is going to possibly bring in a renewed interest into those movies and these figures. Now, does that mean Hot Toys will end up making one of these? Toys R Us made an unbelievable cable. I bought I think that was the first one that had the PE001, I think was that one, which had the light up eye, and they didn't do a real good job on that eye, and I tried to make it better, and I couldn't make it any better. I don't think I made it worse, but I paid the extra money for it to be the PE version of it, and the regular version would have been just fine. And then Hot Toys turns around and makes a cable, and it's like it's just as fine and quicker. Young Rich makes Miles Morales, great looking figures. Hot Toys makes Miles Morales. I'm in love with my Young Rich toys, so they need to get with the program. They're going to try to release this if Toby gets some airtime and they do a crossover and it renews the Sony Spider-Man's 1, 2, and 3 and the Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man's 1 and 2, and we start revisiting the characters like Jamie Foxx is talking about Electro, right? Plus the characters that we're introduced to in the movies already. We talked about the Prowler and the Tinkerer and Shocker, Scorpion. All these were kind of cameoed in the Tom Holland movies. So if they're planning on doing something, they need to get with the program. It's so funny though because I want them to make them all, and then next thing you know, you got 8 figures coming in a month. And how can you possibly buy 8 figures in 1 month? And then on top of that, it takes 2 years for a figure to be cranking out anymore. I mean, what in the world? That's insane. That's absolutely ridiculous. You know what I want to get here? I want to do this Toys Box Spider-Man Hall of Armor. So this was supposed to be a representation from the end of Captain America Civil War, where Tom Holland makes his appearance as Spider-Man. He won our hearts. And at the end of the movie, Tony shows him this new suit that he's got picked out for him. And it very much ends up resembling the Iron Spider suit. There's no guarantee for a fact that that's exactly what it is. I mean, we can look at it and say it very much resembles it. We don't know for absolute fact that that's what it was. So that's what I'll be putting in it. Toys Box has made a lot of accessories for Iron Man figures, Hall of Armors, and I have many of their wine cellar House Party Protocol Toys Box cases. They're really nice. They work. It's a good representation of bent. Good representation of what I want to display. So I don't know what all this was about, but here at the very top of the box, that's where they had that shoved. Almost like as if someone's like, hey, you forgot to put this into the box. Yeah, give it to me. I'll shove it in there. I can't get it in. Keep shoving. It'll fit. Just shove it. There you go. Close it up and send it out. It's perfect. I don't know if that's what happened or not, but it does seem interesting. But yeah, Toys Box has made a lot of accessories specifically for Iron Man. So they call this a circular Hall of Armor. Hot Toys, of course, showed us one in San Diego. And as far as that went, USB cable, remote control, and a dusting cloth. Yeah, when Hot Toys made their wine cellar Hall of Armor, made them out of styrofoam. The packaging that this is in, was what Hot Toys was selling for $125, I think. No, I did not buy one. It did come with a base. It did have LEDs in them. Now I'm curious how similar these are or were. So you got rubber pieces on the bottom here where it says Toys Box. That's obviously the bottom. This one has those covers over the screws, not rubber pushing out the other direction. No Toys Box on it. Obviously the top. If you remember the multiverse, when they went down into the spider's lair and Peter had his Hall of Armor. I wonder how close these are to that. Did any of you pay attention to that? And see whether or not they are similar to Tony's Hall of Armor, or could this work for that? Could you put some of your PlayStation figures into them? Build your Hall of Armor like Peter Parker had? Blonde-haired, blue-eyed Peter Parker from Spider-Verse? It is a hobby that never ends. I will not go down a third-party villains rabbit hole. Maybe Vulture, but that's it. I did pre-order Vulture. I like the Fiend. Save on Mason. That Green Goblin, man. He looks great. He does have the potential of having some problems down with his ankles. Not too pleased with that. But really looks good. And the gosh darn glider is amazing. This Doc Ock. Save on. Come on, man. Don't tell me you're not interested in the Doc. I mean, literally, we're hitting on Spider-Man's main arch nemesis. Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus. Venom the Poison, made by Toys R Us make the Poison also? I don't remember. Let me go get a battery backup. Plug this in, the USB. A little hole right here for that to go into it. I don't want to pry these open. Obviously they're controlled by remote control. A little piece of plastic in there to separate the battery from the contacts to keep your battery from going dead. Says it uses, gotta get the glasses out. CR 2025. It's readily available anywhere. Even the car store sells CR 2025s. So let's get this some juice. Open it up, see how this goes. In for this guy right here. Open him up and put him in there. I didn't charge these battery backups. Hopefully they got juice in them. Hopefully. Hopefully. Registering that there's juice. Not charged them in a long time. Maybe 6 months or more. Let's get a good look at that. Stark Industry, this says up at the top. Pretty cool, huh? Little miles. Looks like maybe. Hmm? Let's have a look at it. Nothing. And the battery pack's showing fully charged. Got the 4 lights on there. Is there an on-off switch that I missed? I don't see a switch. They goofed me not put a battery in here. Could you imagine? There's a battery. All the they don't tell you which way. Oh yeah, plus goes on top. A little bit teeny little, tiny little plus. Looks almost like just a little dot of plastic on there. Okay, the red light's coming on. Right? Jeez. I'm going to have to find some direct juice. Direct juice. Maybe it wasn't plugged in all the way. Maybe that's going to be pointed at it. Nothing. This one also shows fully charged, 4 blue dots. Oh, come on now. Don't tell me I got some junk. Happy Saturday, Robert Just a Fan. My happy Saturday is not turning out so happy. This kind of sucks. I'm looking for an extension cord. Give me a minute. I will find one. Promise. Had the house wired for heavy duty electrical systems at one point when my wife ran a software company out of here. Had some huge heavy duty printers in here, lots of computers. But 300 extension cords plugged into one outlet is never good. Maybe 295, but there's a number you probably shouldn't plug another one in at. Don't know if we've hit that number yet. Pretty close to it, I'm sure, though. Doesn't work now. I don't know what. Yay! Yay. Yay. All right, let's kill some lights. Let's kill some lights. That thing just go out on me? For real? Wait, are you absolutely kidding me? Hello. How about we turn electricity back on? Ta-da! There we go. Plugged it into the LEDs. Wow. I say wow. So we're obviously learning this together here, okay? I didn't see an instruction manual. So top button here closes it up. I don't know what all that was. What was all that? Probably trying to break it. Let's not do that. Right? This appears to be manually opened and closable. And there's a piece of blue tape in here that I'm going to be able to get out, because when you open it, it disappears into the neck of the piece there. Somehow I've got to get my hand in there and get the tape out with this closed. I don't know how I'm going to do that. All right. This little guy's getting wound up, so be careful, don't break him. All right, now I've noticed that there's different modes here with these lights. So definitely here we have this fading in and out option here. So I'm going to press up once. So now we have that option. I'm pressing up once again to this option. I guess it's button number 4 times pressing it. I'm looking for a solid non-flashing. That's 5 times pressing it. And I really can't see. I'm at a disadvantage 6 times pressing it. So I don't know if they're changing or if it's just going back and forth between 2. 7. So I'm looking for one where it's just on and not rising up and coming down. 8. I can't believe there's 10 options on here. Is there really? 9. 10. Yeah, this is called the Toys Box Hall of Armor, Circular Hall of Armor, TB for Toys Box 088. And it's TOYS, Toys, spelled properly, box, all one word, Toys Box. I like it. And yeah, I suppose you could put anything in there you really want, truthfully, you know. Yeah, that's what we're thinking. Thinking that's what it is. So I'm going to open up this Iron Spider. You think that was the Mark IV? Iron Spider Mark IV in Homecoming? No, I know that, but I'm talking by what it's called. I want to search one. That's what it's called. It's nice. I probably get a figure though. Yeah, Hollow Spider or something. Something diorama probably. So we got now it's Toys Box Circular Hall of Armor. Circular Hall of Armor. I think it looks great. It has a little. These guys break. Very, 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 very fragile. Toys Box sent these before, and they would literally just snap right apart. Now this one doesn't feel real strong. No, it's strong. These would just snap, just right in half. So you can use that as long as you can use that. I've put other pieces in here, anything that'll fit in there. Iron Man figures have been coming with these poles that will fit in here for a long time, so I have a lot of them, of different ones, black ones, metal ones, plastic ones. So I was able to put a different one in there. It's not a screw in, unfortunately, so you can't screw something in, but you can get this in here, and I would imagine the others as well. Let's see if I happen to have one here right off the bat. Got them in the box. I don't feel like getting them out of the box. See if this will work. No, the screw-in ones won't work, but the plastic ones will, or the metal ones that came with some of the original Iron Man die-cast figures should work perfectly fine for that. And yeah, he looks great. Let's get a height of it. Will it fit in the Detolf? I'm thinking not on a single shelf by itself. So we're at 15 1/4 inches. What's a Detolf shelf? No, what is it? Oh my God, it might be right on. It might be right on the mark. Try to put them over here, because the other ones have boxes in front of them. Hard time getting my Sandman to pose. I knocked him down the other day and ignored him. I think he's punishing me. Oh my God, perfect! perfectly fits in a Detolf on the standard shelf sizes. So again, designed and made by fans, right? They literally knew what was up. They knew where we were wanting to put this. We knew where we wanted to have it displayed, and they made sure that it'll fit in there without having to change the shelf height or have the shelf rest on it, which would be an alternative if it was just a little too tall. Perfect height for a Detolf. Absolutely perfectly height. And then run your juice to it. Jeez. I've wanted one of these when I first saw it. Doubly wanted it when I saw Hot Toys showing one. And of course, you know, what went through my mind is, well, we'll never get that. Still waiting on your Rhino? Right? Still waiting on my Yellow Jacket. Still waiting on my Tessa Valkyrie. They make such beautiful teases, like the TIE Fighter. Now, you know they weren't going to make you a Millennium Falcon. Jazz might make you a Millennium Falcon. He sure seems to be adding the pieces up to it. The cockpit and the whole 9 yards. Jeez, if you guys keep pressing Jazz, I bet you he'll put your Millennium Falcon together. I don't have any doubt in his desire to please the customer. So I bought this literally just for this. It's a used piece. And again, I try my best to examine them by photographs, hoping that I'm getting something that's worthwhile. So we'll see. We will see. The box is pretty well worn. But I tell you, I bet the figure was loved. So got the tentacles here in the box. I'm going to leave them in the box. I'm not going to use the tentacles for this. Because that's kind of the, my opinion that we're not 100% sure it was the Iron Spider or not. That he was being revealed. Because we didn't get to see the back, or well, we didn't get to see the tentacles on it. So, and I did have a problem with the way Hot Toys made this Iron Spider with those plugs on his back. Come on. They could have done so much better with that. And I wished on this they had lit him up as well. So again, you know, Hot Toys quality and care for the figures is kind of being just washed away. You know, I don't know why they couldn't have made this light upable instead of just little bitty dots where the lights would be. You know, so everything else is complete in here. Now I'm going to take it out of the box. I have one of these. I've unboxed it before. It has the unique head sculpt on it, which goes onto like a weird ball joint on there. But of course, we're not going to be displaying the head sculpt here. And I don't know of any other Spider-Man figures that has that post for the head sculpt on there. So where this will go, actually, will be on the top shelf of the second Detolf, where I have Homecoming Spider-Man, and I have, Homemade Suit Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man suit, Tom Holland Spider-Man suit, with the web wings, and I've got his man in a chair, good old Ned over there, so I'll put it on that shelf. That's the plan, at least. So let's get them out here. When this first came out, I wanted two. I wanted one to be able to display with the tentacles and one to display without the tentacles. And I just never got around to buying a second one. Sometimes, you know, things are as things are. By the way, I went grocery shopping for the first time since my wife passed away. On I went on Tuesday. And, I've been doing the grocery shopping for years. I've never had a problem grocery shopping. Love grocery shopping. We go grocery shopping together. Loved it. And I love food. I love making food. I love knowing where food comes from. I love food. You might find that hard to believe. I can believe some of you are probably thinking to yourself that, I probably don't eat much at all. To dispel any belief of that, I'll let you know I love to eat. Love it. Anyhow, it was interesting and sad going to the grocery store and, not buying the things that she ate specifically. For instance, in her coffee, she liked heavy whipping cream. And I'm fine with just straight up half and half. Hell, I'm fine with skim milk, to tell you the truth. I only put it in there to take the edge off of the bitter coffee taste. I put flavored syrup in there, sugar-free chocolate, sugar-free raspberry, Torani's flavored syrup. And then I throw in a little splash of half and half just to smooth it out. Well, there was no heavy whipping cream needed to buy, because no one in the house will be drinking heavy whipping cream anymore. So that was kind of sad, stuff like that. Stuff that was an absolute staple. It was bought every week, It's not a staple anymore. The crematorium called me, asked how I was doing, and I said, well, I've been regretting getting this phone call, what's going on? And they said, well, we're still waiting for the death certificate to be signed. Just want to give you a heads up on that. And I said, may I ask what the determined cause of death was? And I said, by God, it better not be COVID, because she didn't have any necessarily respiratory issues. Yeah, she was on oxygen. Yeah, she used a Trilogy 100 non-invasive ventilator. But she wasn't, suffering from lack of being able to breathe in regards to COVID or pneumonia or flu or anything along asthma, anything along that line. Gosh, dang it. So they said, no COVID. I was like, good. What was it? And of course, it had on there every single medical problem that she had as attributors to her death, because they are. There's actually a requirement that you have to put on there a reason for death. You have to die of something now. You can't die of natural causes here in the United States. You have to die of something. There's no natural causes anymore. There's actually, you can Google that, of the person who was fortunate enough to be the last one to die of natural causes on his death certificate. You can't have that anymore. It has to be something. There's no such thing as natural causes. I guess in science's mind, one day we can defeat death and we won't die naturally, that there is no natural termination of death. If they can, I guess, continue repopulating cells, I guess they figure they can defeat death. I don't know, but you cannot have natural causes as a cause of death. But they said, yeah, she died of the main contributor was mild tachycardia. And I think I need to Google that. I think that's a heart attack. So I then asked, even though I was there, this close to her, and I know she went peacefully, she simply just said, I'm dizzy, and closed her eyes. So, of course, though, I asked, does it appear then with that as a diagnosis that she went peacefully? And she said, oh, yeah. You know, I'm no doctor, no medical professional, she said, but I've been in the business long enough that I believe if this is the cause of death, that it was a peaceful passing. And that's what we all want for ourselves and our loved ones. It's what we all hope for. So, then they said, we can't perform the cremation until the death certificate has been finalized. Would you like to be notified of the date and time that we will be performing the cremation? And I said, yes, I would. I would like to know for fact the moment that, you know, that happens. March 16th. Today's April 10th. Love to blame COVID on everything, you know? I'm so sick and tired of hearing that, man. I really am. Gosh, dang it. But I don't believe she's in the body anymore. So it doesn't really matter. In that regards, that they haven't moved on with her. I hate that, you know, this whole thing happened. What can you do? Happens to us all sooner or later, right? Every one of us are going to have to pay that fare until one day when they actually do figure out a way for us to live forever. He's nice and stiff. So I'm very pleased with this. Whoever had it more than likely did not pose it in anything other than museum pose, or maybe never even took it out of the box. I really wasn't paying that much attention to it. It was a good price. I'm pleased with it. I knew it was used. Wasn't trying to nitpick it apart. So I am well with the condition that it came in and the price that I paid for it. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a crotch grabber. Only because it's easier to get them on and off. At this point, I don't know how I'm going to actually have him permanently. Hell, he may be standing on his own and not using any figure stand. I love these waist grabbers, especially for my female characters, because a lot of times the crotch grabber makes them look like they've got male bits. So, sure, I got a female character someplace that would benefit from this. She has to be a big figure, though. somebody, someplace, somewhere. And yeah, as soon as I start putting this in, it's already cracking. Already cracking. So yeah, these just, they're not designed for these. They'll just crack right apart. So So what I normally do, for instance, on my Iron Man Hall of Armor, I put the metal or the plastic ones that came with the Hot Toys figures in here, and then use either a plastic crotch grabber that Hot Toys used to provide, or the waist holder. That's how I normally do it. And he's standing well, truthfully. And I like this dust cover. It's great. I don't know how the hell I'm going to get this. I'm going to take that figure stand right out of there, though. I'm not going to keep it in there. I'm almost positive. I'm almost positive. By the way, it's insane trying to buy Dettolfs from IKEA. You go to the website, and it tells you that it's available in some areas for delivery only. And then you choose your store, and it says it's not available for delivery or nothing. So then you contact the store, and they're like, oh yeah, we're getting 50 of them on March 29th. So March 29th comes around. Yeah, no, we didn't get them. We're getting them on April 3rd. April 3rd comes around. Yeah, no, we didn't get them. Coming on April 7th. But you know, if you want, you can go online and it'll tell you the inventory that we have. You go online and it says, not even available for delivery. So, I don't know what to say about that. Just make it difficult. It's a wonderful case. And I guess from my understanding, somebody had said that they were going to be replacing it with an upgraded one. And that's believable. They're always replacing their product line with an upgraded version of it, or a newer and improved, less likely to kill somebody version of it. I guess some people have a tendency to over tighten the Dettolf as they're assembling it, and the tempered glass shatters. So be careful if you're assembling a Dettolf that you make sure that it's not going to blow up on you because you tighten it up too much. Here's the question. With it on, if we disconnect the power, turn the power back on, will it come on again? Let's find out. All right, there's the power to the LEDs. Negative. Of course not. I knew it wouldn't work that way. That's fine. I mean, wireless, so you don't have to point it right at it. That's nice. So what I'll probably do then is these hang by the door. This one for the fan and the ceiling light hangs by the door. This one hangs right beneath it on a little nail. I'll probably find some way of putting this near the door. That way when I come in here I can, flip the, so normally it's kind of like this. So first would be flip on the main light because the room's dark, and then flip on the overhead light, and then flip on the LEDs, And then flip on Spidey. Wonder how far away it goes. So if he's here, works well. I'm literally pointing it away from the case, and it works perfectly fine. Love this. This is an unbelievable, another welcomed piece to the collection. Probably going to start moving some of these pieces into the living room. My wife loved me very much. She tolerated my collection. She liked that I enjoyed doing it. She liked that I had a hobby. She liked that it wasn't drinking alcohol to excess, or womanizing, or blowing it on cigarettes or something that would be bad for my health. So she enjoyed that it was a harmless hobby, if you can consider spending your entire paycheck harmless. She tolerated it and she loved me, but they had to stay back here. So I don't know. I might be moving some of these into the living room now. There's things that you have to do when losing a loved one. And one of the hardest is going to be getting rid of her stuff. And I mean like her clothes. The knickknacks and the bric-a-brac will stay, of course. But you can never really prepare for the loss of a loved one. No matter what you think, no matter how much advance notice, even if you are in one of those really horrible situations where you're having to schedule a time to terminate the devices maintaining a life, you can never be truly prepared for it. It sucks. It really sucks. Completely sucks. So when she had her cardiac arrest and you guys were here for me, she always took comfort in that. So at that point, she was happy that I had the hobby and have you guys to share with. Sure, I've got the Camaro Club. But what have we not been able to do there since 2020? No gatherings, right? So it's you and I. I'm here for you, man. You here for me? So Venom, I really enjoyed the Venom storyline. Actually, if you're curious exactly when it was that I discovered Spider-Man, because like I said, I was raised with Superman, Batman, the comics, and Adam West, Christopher Reeves, the classics. 1989 Batman, right? Michael Keaton. But it was Secret Wars, Marvel Secret Wars, that got me to discover Spider-Man. And in that was the introduction of the black suit, which later became Venom, who became a very popular character. And all the side stories that came from that, including Cletus Cassidy, and the Venom children that he had. Try not to have to open this up any more than I absolutely have to. I'm trying to keep this plastic on here. I can't figure out what in the world, how this opens up. Sometimes you just gotta go for it. So anyhow, there were several women Venoms in the comics. Specifically, who this, I think, was a representation of from the Venom movie that came out recently with, oh God, what was his name? Oh, terrible. So I really enjoyed the movie and look forward to more. Didn't have too much of a problem with it. Some people had a real problem with the fact that the spider wasn't on the front. And yeah, it does kind of screw things up in regards to the storyline. But the Venom story has been told so many different ways. There are so many Venom originations out there that this is just another Venom origination. And I imagine each one of them, you know, reflect the Earth that they are on, being Earth 616, being the main Earth. But it was Eddie Brock's girlfriend. There was something wrong with her. Cancer? I don't remember. There was something wrong with her, and the symbiote inhabited her and healed her. And so that was when one of the first Venom females that we seen. Then there was his children when the Life Foundation extracted the seeds, because the first seed was Cletus Cassidy, Carnage. And they found 6 other seeds from him. So the Life Foundation extracted his seeds and made some females in. I think one's name was Toxin. Don't remember. But when I seen this female Venom, come on. Obviously, there's not keeping the plastic on this. This has to come off like a shoebox. I knew this was a no-brainer. For fact. Definite no-brainer. So, let's see how it looks. They made 2 versions of it. And I don't remember if I was able to get the deluxe version or not. I bought 2 of whatever it was for sale at the time when I finally got around to being able to pick them up. So I don't know if this is the deluxe version or the non-deluxe version, but I bought 2 of them because I wanted to be able to display them with multiple alternatives. And I love Venom. Love my female superhero, supervillains. I really wanted Pepper Potts. One of y'all told me that there's a great Pepper Potts head sculpt. I've not found it. I would really like to find the proper head sculpt of Hela with the rooted hair. I've seen some floating around Facebook, and they look amazing. God, man, sheesh. I really want one of those, for real. Let's back up here and see what I missed while I was talking. Oh, what are you doing? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. You know, I hate this. I can't select. There we go. Now we're getting chat to move. All right. This game is saying that. Had the blue light. Maybe you put dead batteries. Okay, good. So we figured that out. The backup batteries were dead, so I need to charge these, and I haven't charged them in a long time. I would use these whenever I'd go to the car shows to make sure that my phone had enough juice. My phone nowadays has plenty of juice. So it's S20 I have, but before I had the S5, and it wouldn't last the whole car show, so I'd bring the backup batteries. Or if I had to use my phone as a mobile hotspot for fact, it had to be on a backup battery then because it was really going to be sucked down dry. So we'll get that figured out. Matt, how's it going? Matt 2310. Batsuit would look great in that. Same Spider-Man Mark IV case. We already talked about that, right? Okay, cool. Everyone do the Zemo dance. Anybody want to get that Hot Toys comic Iron Man? I think there's a couple people that said that they thought it was nice. If I forget now. 15 by 15 is a Detolf. Thank you, Robert. I think 15 and a quarter is actually what we came up with. Because this guy, I mean, he fit in there, I mean, by millimeters. Literally by millimeters. And this is 15 and just shy of a quarter. So it must be 15 and a quarter. And in this instance, that quarter is actually needed because it's taller than 15 inches. But that's a good, easy number to remember. 15 by 15, easy to remember. So you'll know as you're building your dioramas and whatnot to go in there, you'll know what size to keep it at. He's a Star Trek figure. Hey, 7 of 9 in there, right? Mafex. That's the... I'm not even going to say what I think it is. Because I'll go from being stupid to proving that I'm stupid. I don't even know what a Mafex is. I'm sorry. Someone in his heart. It is, man. I tell you. So, the first person I lost was my best friend back 15 years ago, maybe a little longer. And before that, I never really lost anybody that's close to me. Family members would pass on. People that I knew or worked with would pass on. But nobody that I was ever really close with. So whenever somebody would tell me that they were grieving because they'd lost somebody, I wouldn't know what to say. I'm sorry to hear that, or whatever, and then come up with something incredibly stupid to try to cheer them up. I can tell you right now, whenever somebody's grieving over loss, they really don't want to be cheered up. They really don't. At least in my opinion. I don't need to be cheered up. I don't need to be told everything that I probably have already run through my mind over this process. So, but nobody knows how to deal with that. And until I lost my best friend, I didn't know what loss really was. When he died, and I couldn't mention his name for 5 years without tears coming because of the emotion of grief and loss of losing him. So it took 5 years before I could even mention his name without crying. So that's how devastating grief can be. And everyone's grief is different in regards to how you handle it and how you manifest it. And so I know I'm in it for the long run because he was just my best friend. I really lost my best friend now. I've lost my wife, who was my true, honest to goodness best friend. And so there are days that I feel pretty good, like right now, and I'm still fighting the tears. And that's when I feel guilty for feeling good. I was told recently by somebody that they were surprised to see me laughing. And I'm already feeling guilty about having a good time as it is. To be called out on that? I don't understand why people say some of the things that they say sometimes. We're human, we make mistakes, but by golly, some stuff just really comes out totally insensitive. So, yeah, we're all going to have to deal with it sooner or later. Every one of us. Someone's going to die before we do. We're going to be in that situation. And, God bless you when it happens to you. I hope you do well with it. And don't worry what anybody tells you. Your true friends will know how to talk to you. And I think anybody that turns an ear and just listens is somebody you should keep close to you. You're going to need them. You're going to need them. No doubt about that. So she is definitely a pale body. These almost look blue. I don't know if it's truly blue, if it's a perceived blue. I used to have a flashlight in here. I'd like to shine it on that and see what color it really is, if it's blue or black. My granddad was a carpenter. He built homes and other things out of wood, painted a lot of houses, and he said there were two things you could do to make something more white in regards to painting a house. If your neighbor, he said that he had a neighbor that he had painted a house. He had a house he painted, and the neighbor said, through competition, I want my house to be whiter than his, whose you just painted. And he said there's two ways you can do that. One is by putting a little bit of black in it, believe it or not, and the other was by putting a little bit of blue in it. And evidently that gave the appearance of it being whiter. So I'm wondering if this blue reflection I'm seeing in here makes it blacker. I don't know. Just kind of guessing. And I'm thinking, I don't know, again, that this may have been the deluxe, which is perfectly fine by me. A lot of stuff in here. So let's talk about a DNR real quick. I assume you're talking about do not resuscitate. So I have on my living will that I want to live, so definitely try to resuscitate me. But if it's obvious that I'm not going to have a quality of life, let me go. For real, let me go. So my wife had her cardiac arrest, and they brought her back from that, and her quality of life was greatly diminished. And through the CPR machine, they actually have a chest compressor that's pumping your heart to bring you back to life in these instances. And it bruised or broke her ribs. I don't know what the case was, and it's extremely painful healing that part of your body. And she literally said that she wasn't going to go through that ever again. So she was done and ready. So she had a DNR, and I knew every single time she went into the hospital, she just got worse and worse and worse. She never was getting any better in the hospital's visits, so it made sense as well for her. She was done and tired and ready to move on. And selfishly, I was not ready for her to go. So I respect her DNR. The firemen that showed up, the paramedics that showed up, respected her DNR. She was already gone as it was. What they had said was, without the documentation, without a DNR here that we can witness that her wishes not to be resuscitated, we have to take her to the hospital. We have to attempt resuscitation. And they gave me an opportunity to find the advance directive, the living will that she had made and signed, and they honored that and did not then attempt any resuscitation. They had been to the house many times, so these weren't new guys that I'd never seen before. They were paramedics that had been to the house on one of her many visits to the hospital. So they knew what they were kind of going into, and you know, so life as that went the way that it did, and they were very professional. And the whole thing, if you could put a best case scenario on this type of a situation, really was the best case scenario. Um, I can't imagine ever, though, saying this is the best way to go, but it was nice for her. It's what she wanted, and it allowed her to continue to pass on peacefully without them taking her to the hospital, busting her up again, and God forbid, against her wishes, revive her and put her into a state of pain or a decreased capacity again, or even now being totally dependent on life sustaining devices to keep herself breathing and being on a feeding tube or something just way beyond her wishes. So I'm happy that there are DNRs and that people will respect them if it's available to you. But yeah, selfishly, no. Selfishly, I wanted her. I know, I want to know how Captain Kirk looks in there. Oh, that would look nice, right? Never forget, but it gets easier in time. It does. Of course it does. I threw myself into my hobby. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, cooking, food, anything. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. That's great advice. Anything to, keep your mind in a good state. You don't want to dwell on anything too much. And so I have that. I have a job. I have my hobby. Um, I have the video game that I play. So it's I miss her at nighttime the most. And I talk to her every day. So I guess they say as long as you remember them, then they really haven't left, right? CBS Sci-Fi going to be getting an Iron Man. I'd be happy to see if that is. Is that like a plastic? Did they put like a plastic casing around that? Is that what I was looking at when I was looking at it? Looks like Robert Just Fan's going to get it too. Dark Knight Returns Batman. 8 John Walker Party City Cap. I don't know what that is. From my understanding, the Hella head sculpt costs an arm and a leg, but I'm afraid to look it up. I don't even have a Hella yet. So I had my Hella. I bought her originally brand new. I sold her when my wife had her cardiac arrest to pay some medical bills. Was able to sell her for $400, and that was back when she cost like $2. And then I just bought her again, second market, and I know I paid way over $400. Um, I haven't unboxed her yet. She's over here to get unboxed, and but I really want that head sculpt. I really want. I'm really disappointed that Hot Toys didn't provide that. Falcon and the Winter Soldier has been really good. I've not watched that, and I've not finished watching WandaVision. I need to. I really need to. Booby trap my stuff. I'll be damned taking my stuff. Best thing, Falcon Winter Soldier, the Zemo dance. Okay, that's funny that you guys have made some references to that. I thought are we talking Baron von Zemo? Didn't he? Did they put him in jail, right? In Winter Soldier. So I guess he's back. Is this what we're talking about? Anyone see Godzilla Kong? That looked pretty good. I like that version of Godzilla. I like the classic. I call it the classic. Actually, no, there really is a classic, and we're not talking about that one. I'm talking about this Godzilla is the Godzilla that I like. The classic one's nice too. I mean, the original Godzilla. I don't like DNR to give me the creeps. She's only thinking about bad stuff. My wife hated talking about it, and I wish that she did talk to me more about it. She didn't want to talk about it, so we didn't talk. Plastic on the Iron Man. So I think this could be anybody, really. In the Venom movie, there was a second where, was it his girlfriend that Venom occupied then too, in the movie? So, obviously in the movie, we don't have the spider on here. What was interesting was how the Venom story as it began to flush out, okay? And I'm not talking about the movie, I'm talking about comics. So, the symbiote came while Spider-Man was up fighting the Secret Wars. He had damaged his suit, and they found a device. I think when War Machine was in there being repaired, and the suit, this big machine was repairing his suit. So Spider-Man put his hand under there, and bloop came the symbiote, and he became what he did. And he got the white spider on there, and we assume that came from Spider-Man. So then later on, when we see the Venoms, the symbiotes from their planet, they all had the white spider on them. So it had evidently nothing to do with Spider-Man, the white spider. So it made it all the more interesting, the choice for them not to put a white spider on the front of Venom in this last movie. One of the things I really hated about the Venom that they had in Spider-Man movies, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, was the writing saying, I want Spider-Man dead. I want him. I don't like him. And as we all know, Venom never spoke as an I. Venom was always we are Venom. They just really did a poor job with Venom, and it wasn't the actor's fault. You can only do so much as an actor. You have to follow the wishes of the producer, the director, and the writer as the actor. And it was just really poorly done. They really did a terrible job on Venom in that movie, and it was just an embarrassment. So I don't know why they chose not to do the white spider on the front of Venom. Maybe they figured that people wouldn't know about the Venom planet and them all having a spider on their chest. I don't know. And then it's interesting too, in the Deadpool stories, Deadpool claims that he was involved in the Secret Wars as well, and that actually he had gone to the machine, put his little hand under there, and the symbiote infected him or occupied him or inhabited him. And Venom was so, Deadpool was so absolutely insane and crazy that it drove the Venom crazy. And that supposedly is the reason that Venom became crazy. But there's conflicting stories on that as well, that he was crazy from the planet and that's why he'd left. And, so there's so many Venom stories. There's so many of them, origination stories, that you really can't go wrong on any of them that you would believe or wish to adhere to. This looks great. I love this. And then we have this as well. There we go. That looks pretty nice. Does anybody know if this is a Fison body? I don't see any credit given to them. Normally, if they're involved, they make sure of it. It's not a necessary thing. No, it's a regular body. Figure stand looks pretty cool. Queen of the Dark Spider. I'll tell you what's funny was when was it Toys R Us that made the Lady Katana? This guy contacted me telling me he was going to sue me for making a video unboxing the Lady Katana figure because he was the creator of the Lady Katana comic book. And I was in direct violation of his copyright. And I told him I wasn't in violation of nothing. I'm not the one that named it. They named it Lady Katana. And I said, on top of that, your Lady Katana looks nothing like this Lady Katana. He quit bothering me after a while. So these little pieces plug in here. There's a magnet or a piece of metal on the back. I'm assuming it's a magnet. So I guess this will go on her back. Pretty good articulations with them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them. There's 6 little areas here for them too. I like the very wet look of this. I guess I never really thought of Venom being slimy, but I sure am now. That's a fact. So now let's see if this attaches to her back. It appears that it might. Oh yeah, sure does. Easily. I mean, there was a strong magnet that grabbed that. In fact, it grabbed it so strongly, I ended up pulling this little arm off because I kind of was holding on to it. Snatched it out of my hand. I don't know what to do with this hair. I never know what to do with the hairs. Definitely heavy. Can you see that? And it just attaches to the back. A very strong magnet. And those are articulated. Looks really cool. I'm digging it. I remember in the photographs, it gave the impression that it was supposed to be some sort of like spider thing that crawled around with it or whatever. And I was like, I'm not so sure I'm thrilled about that. So I'm definitely pleased to see this. Here's the little head. And then we have two Venom style grasping hands, one left, one right. We have a fist on the left and the holding something in the finger and thumb hand, like a USB device or a piece of paper or anything that they would put in their finger and thumb there. And then we have a left and right relaxed hand, if you will. But I imagine a Jiaodong or a Phison hand would work also. Jiaodongs are a little big for the hands. You need to have the smaller attachment for this wrist. So just know you're going to need a small one if you decide you want to use other hands. Hail body, obviously. And then there's this side. You would take off a hand and then put this in its place. And I'm not going to do that. But this can be put on there as well. So I think I've kept you guys 2 hours now. I love every one of you. Thank you for spending your time with me. I look forward to it. My wife, after every show, She asked about you guys. You know, how many of you were here? That last weekend before she passed, she started getting a little confused. And she asked about 10 times if I had to do my show. Is my show tomorrow and it had already passed? You know, so she was moving on. She was checking out there in the end. So I wish I knew then that I only had just a few hours left with her, you know? Just 5 minutes more, right? Now how the song goes. Just 5 minutes more. Looks like Pepper? Yeah, I can see Pepper here. I can see that being a Pepper. Maybe a little more busty than Pepper. The suit chooses its host. There's a story attached to some greedy mafia crook, and the suit hated him, and so he just detached himself, and the guy fell to his death. Oh, Venom's amazing. It's hardcore for a symbiote. He definitely chooses Batman or Superman. I don't think he attached to Penguin or Aquaman. Sexy hips. They thick. Yeah, they are. Be cool if Venom attached to Catwoman, right? Of course, you know we've got um, there's a Mary Jane Venom, right? And I think there was a Black Cat Venom, right? And a Gwenpool, and a Venom Gwen 2. Forget what her name was. Nice, nice, nice. So same actor, even good. Zemo, nice, nice. You should watch the Zemo dances on YouTube. Well, I will have to watch the series. I can't wait to start getting into it. That's right, no spoilers. So we can't talk about Black. We can't talk about. We can't talk about Falcon. Captain. What's it called? Falcon and Winter Soldier. We can't talk about it till it's over. That way, some people haven't subscribed to Disney have had an opportunity to subscribe, binge watch it, and see it. And let's give it a week on that. We can talk about WandaVision right now if you guys want to. I haven't seen it all, so thank you for not talking about it. And I need to watch the rest of it, but Wanda's off the list of bans on what we can and can't talk about. So if you guys ever want to talk about WandaVision, you're welcome to. I need to get in there and watch the gosh darn thing, the rest of it. And so thank you for not doing that. It's no spoilers, obviously. You can talk about it, just no spoilers. You know what I mean? Thanks, guys. I love you too, man. I really do. This hobby has just been uh, a good centering for me. I like coming in here and just being in the midst of my toys. And now that I need something, I've got you guys as well. So thank you for being here for me. And I hope I'm here for you. So, and if you feel so inclined, I have a Patreon channel, www.patreon.com/Siri Emerald, SIRIEMERALD. It's not a channel. It is, but I've never really put anything on it. If you want to throw $1 my way, thank you. That'd be great. It's just a way of showing that you appreciate me. It's like a tip. When you tip your waitress to give her a buck or suit or 10% or whatever it is they claim they should be getting, throw me $1 if you like. Trust me, these figures cost more than $1, and nobody's giving these figures to me for free. I mean, there's no company that's sponsoring me. I have been very fortunate that you guys have bought me a figure or two. Thank you very much for that. But no, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I don't get figures for free. I get the same discounts you guys get. So, Like, subscribe, share, you know the drill. Yada, yada, yada. I'll definitely be here next Saturday, always. There's been a couple that I've missed on, but I'm feeling pretty good now for the most part. Look forward to seeing you guys and spending time with you. So I've got a lot of figures to go through. So, and I need to buy some Detolfs and go through those, do some moving around. And if you find that Kate Blanchett, right, rooted Hella, let's talk about it next week, man. I need to find where that is. I don't think the person that made them is making them anymore. That was years ago, like 2 years ago, that they were making them. But man, they looked amazing. And I would gladly pay whatever price that the person is charging for. I mean, hell, sometimes head sculpts go for 60, 70, $80. Just a Hot Toys version, let alone something that somebody rooted. So I appreciate you guys. And again, this is your show. I kind of took over this week and just went through what I wanted to get through. Been working on the Spider-Mans. Got the Spider-Mans here. All I've got left is the Green Goblin. The new Green Goblin, I think, is the only thing I haven't unboxed. In relation to what's left of the Spider-Man. Oh wait, what's this? What's this? Oh, the drones. The drone pack came also. Hot Toys drone pack. So that's the two Spider-Man. I think that's all I have left in regards to that. I've gotten through all the Spider-Man stuff. Well, no, that's not true. I do have these. Bought two of these, which are the Peter Parker's suits. So other than that, I think I'm about done with Spider-Man for the time being until another one shows up. We'll move on to something else. So thanks, guys. I will cut you all loose and catch up with you later. And see you on the next video.